Hello everyone, my name is Djamila and I am an illustrator. I also have a Patreon account where I share Photoshop files and all kinds of things with people who support my art. And if you want to become one of them, just click the link in the description below. So, in this video I wanted to talk about some things that helped me grow my audience and get more followers on Instagram. Someone sent me an email and asked what she could do to grow her Instagram, reach more people, build an audience, and that's something that is very important because these days, or in general, it's just a good idea to get your work seen by many people because it opens up opportunities for all kinds of things. Instagram is my main social network. I've been using it for years and I feel pretty confident at this point to talk about it. So at this point I have 84,000 followers, I think, and it took me about 3 years to get to this point, so now I wanted to share 10 tips on how to grow your following on Instagram. The video you see in the background is just a study I did a while ago. I added it to give you something to watch. So let's get started. Tip number 1. As this is a video called Instagram for Artists, I think it's really important that you stick to your theme. So when you have an art profile on Instagram, I think it should be 95% art related posts. Some people like to post more other stuff like selfies or travel photos, pictures of their pets. That's all nice and cute and that gives a personal touch to things, but I think the main focus should be on the art. Number 2, be patient. As I said, it took me 2 or 3 years to get to the point where I'm at now. I know it can be kind of frustrating to wait for the numbers to come in, but it's just numbers. It's all about staying active, working on your craft, posting stuff, and eventually it's going to work. You're going to get your audience that you want. Just stick with it and don't give up. Tip number 3, good quality images or good quality photos. Now when I take my pictures, I try to do it in daylight because it just looks better. It's not that noisy, and when I'm done taking my photos, I take them and adjust them in Instagram right away because you have some options. You can use filters, but you also have options to adjust contrast, brightness, saturation, all these kinds of things that you can do in Photoshop, but in Instagram as well. So I think it's always a good idea to brighten your images a bit so that they look nice, but you also want to see the artwork, so that's the most important thing. I also would say don't overuse filters, because if you draw something and throw a filter on it, that's just crazy intense. That kind of overpowers your drawing. You want your drawing to be enhanced by the adjustments and not totally manipulated into something else. When you upload your photos, I think the best resolution to use is 1080 by 1080 pixels. That's kind of the standard Instagram resolution that gives you good quality photos. Another thing I do, if I paint something in Photoshop, then I save it in the right size that I want, and then I have an iPhone, and in the beginning I didn't know how to get the photos from my computer to my iPhone, so I read that you can send them to yourself via email, and that's what I'm doing. I just send myself an email from my computer and then I open it on my phone and then I save the image that way. I don't know if there's a better way. If you know one, please let me know, but this has worked for me. And also I would say, especially if you're doing traditional art, I think it's a nice idea to just dress your photos up a little bit. Like if you're drawing something and you have some decoration around, maybe a nice plant or something, just take it and put it in the photo because it looks nicer. People want to see your work in context. They want to see it in your living room or something. Maybe leave the tools you're using in the picture, or leave your hand in the picture so that they can see that you're drawing. It's actually a person doing that, and that gives another kind of connection. I think it's nice to just go the extra mile, make your photos look nice. Also, if you want to do that, get out your nice camera. I mean, phones can take amazing pictures, but if you really want to put in more effort, take your SLR camera and take some super nice photos of your artwork and upload that. Tip number 4. That's something I could work on more. I have a hard time with that, but I think it's so effective if you're doing it well. And it is have genuine captions under your photos, like have some really nice captions where you talk about your thought process, your struggles, things that have influenced your work. Give a little bit of backstory. That really helps people to connect with the work more. And what I also found is it's nice to make the captions engaging. So sometimes I post something, for example, I'm drawing fan art and I'm posting a work in progress and I write down, hey, can you tell who this is? And then your audience feels like you value their opinion and they're happy to answer, they're happy to put down their guesses in the comments, and then you can write back and it just starts a conversation or just keeps them engaged. Number 5. That's a tough one to say, but I'm gonna add it because it's the basis of pretty much everything, and it is work on your craft and have good work. If you're just starting out, if you're doing your first drawings ever, who knows, you cannot really expect to have hundreds and thousands of people coming to your profile and seeing that stuff. You have to have a certain level to get people engaged and to get people interested in your work. If you're at that level, that's perfect, that's great. Just focus on all the other things I'm mentioning, but if you're still learning, maybe emphasize that. Make your profile about your learning journey. Write something about it, tell people what you're studying right now, what you want to improve on, ask them for opinions and feedback and all that. And grow your audience that way. So just for comparison, it took me from 2010 to 2015, like really intense work, drawing all the time, really studying, putting in the effort to get to a professional level. So that's 5 years, and before that I've been drawing all the time, so stuff doesn't happen overnight. It needs patience, it needs work, so don't be discouraged if it doesn't happen overnight. Just expect it to take longer and expect your craft to improve over the years, not overnight. Tip number 6 is post regularly. I think that's a pretty important one. I always aim for daily, at least a post a day. But sometimes you just don't have stuff to post, sometimes you don't want to, you're on a vacation or something and you don't want to look at your phone all the time. So if you're asking like how can I get enough content to post a picture every day, I'm not finishing something every day. I think it's also great to post works in progress, especially if you're working on something that you can show. I know a lot of people work for companies that have stuff under NDA, but if you don't, post some sneak peeks of things you're working on, even if it's just a part of the drawing, like a part of the face or something, just that people get the sense that you're working on something, that they can follow along, and then they're really excited when you post a finished one. Sometimes when I work on a drawing, I post the sketch in the morning, and then a little bit of progress in the afternoon, and then even more progress in the evening, and then the next day the finished piece. So people often say it's really cool to see the progress. I feel like I've been there for the creation, and that's really good. That keeps them engaged as well. So it kind of creates this real-time experience. Not so much with the algorithm that has been changed now, but still. So tip number 7 is respond to comments. I think that's really important, especially if you're starting out. You might not have that many followers, so it's not a lot. If 3 people say, hey, I like this drawing, you can say, thank you, that's so nice, like 3 times. It doesn't take that long. And it's just really nice people take their time to write something to you, so you should take the time to write something back. At some point, when your account is growing so much that you get like hundreds of comments on your images, you cannot reply to all of them. I don't reply to all of them. I like each and every comment I get, if I see it, because the Instagram comment system totally sucks, but hey. So I like it, and if people have questions, I definitely answer. But yeah, if you can, if it's not too much, if it's not too many comments, just reply to people. They'll like you for it more. And that brings me to number 8. Comment on other artists' work. So I guess if you have an art account on Instagram, you're also following other artists that you like. And when they post something and you really, really like it, tell them about it. So what happened to me a few times is that I saw some work of artists that I've admired for years, wrote them, hey, I really love this, especially the color palette or something, and seems like they clicked on my little picture, and seems like they went to my profile, they liked what they saw, and they followed me back, and that's always so crazy to me, seeing the people that I started out admiring following me back like me. So that's so nice, and I hope that'll happen to you too at some point. So tip number 9 is kind of connected to that. I think it's a good idea to have your best artwork as your profile picture or icon on Instagram. Because when you comment on somebody's picture, all they see is your comment, your name, and your little image. So if you have a name like blah 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 art, that tells them that yours is an art account, so they can go check it out if they want. But I know I prefer to just have my name there, and I have my icon with my illustrations, so I want that to be the attention grabbing thing. So if people see this little thing and they think, oh, that's nice, has that person drawn that themselves? So they might go to my profile and check it out and see if I'm actually an artist, if I have drawn that. And if they like it, they might follow me. And tip number 10. That's the big one. I saved that for last. But it's so important. I can stress it enough. It's so important. Add hashtags. Add a shitload of hashtags to your drawings. I add, I don't know how many, 20 or something to each and everything I post. And I know some people kind of have this weird opinion about them. They think, oh, I don't want to put so many hashtags, it's kind of desperate or something. But I think of it as something that helps the people who are using Instagram to find the stuff they're looking for. So if you're looking for artists, how are you going to find them if they don't tag their images accordingly? So imagine you're opening a phone book or something and you're looking for the name Smith. You go to S and you find it. So if you go to Instagram, which is a huge platform with so many things, and you're looking for artists, what are you going to type? Art. Artist. Artists on Instagram. All those kinds of things. So you're just making it easier for people to find you. And if you want to know what kind of hashtags I'm using, just click on any of my posts on Instagram and you'll see a list pop up. I always put them in the first comment below my picture because I don't like it when they're in the description. They're kind of cluttering it. And if you put them in the comments, it still counts. But people don't see it, so it's not that big of a deal to have a ton of hashtags there. You might think, oh, I don't want to type all those hashtags all the time. It's so much work. I have saved them in a note file. I think each phone has some option to save notes, so I did that. I just put all the hashtags in that apply all the time, like artists on Instagram, art, artwork, drawing, painting, and so on. And then I copy those, paste them in my comment, and add the ones that apply to the specific image. And that's it. I think that's all I wanted to talk about. That was a lot, oh man. But I hope this was helpful to you, especially the girl who wrote me the email. Thank you so much. And I wish you all the best with your own Instagram accounts. I really love it. I think it's a great platform for artists. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.